All right, the breakfast show continues, and definitely we have had unexpected guest, Honorable Mucheleka, coming in from the UPND, and obviously giving us more updates in terms of just how their General Assembly went and just what is the way forward. Moving on from there, we get to the Patriotic Front. Now, one of the stories that I think I did share with you is the fact that Honorable Davis Mwila has announced that this coming weekend they'll be setting the date for their General Assembly. They have to go for their General Assembly as well before an election in August. Now, how are the preparations, and of course, what are some of the key things that we need to know? Joining me is Honorable Mkondo, admin of the Patriotic Front as well, just to balance up our discussion as well. Honorable, thank you so much. Good to see you, and good morning.
It's quite a rare privilege to be once more here.
Definitely.
I'm quite humbled again.
With you, we are here to talk about the convention later,
Yes,
especially when Honorable Davis Mwila gives a date when
Exactly.
the date is set.
Yes.
But we have the SONA, and debates have already started flowing on social media in terms of the Presidential National Address, which took place last week, Friday.
Yes.
Where the president highlighted a lot of key things. We're not going to talk about. I would really love us to have a conversation on the whole entire SONA.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
And the president, the president looked so fresh.
Yes, he looks so fresh.
So fresh. He looks younger.
He looks younger, yes.
He looks younger.
And this is the reason why we are saying that we are ready to battle, and we are ready to go beyond the 2021.
I saw him ready.
Yes,
I think he is ready. He looked very. I cannot talk about being smart because I think he's beaten me now.
Yes.
Yeah, I think he's beaten me now. So on that particular aspect, I'm not gonna talk. The SONA came at a time when people really needed the president to talk to the people.
Yes.
And he obliged to it, and he said, "Okay, let me talk to my people." And one of the SONA itself centered on morality.
Yes.
Exactly. And he emphasized so much on. I followed him.
Yes.
One of the things that he talked about so deep and over a period of time, I think, was the issue of GBV.
Yes.
He talked about it. He talked about early pregnancies.
Yes,
He
yes,
talked
yes,
about
yes.
that. He talked about an election.
Yes.
He talked about it.
And then also abuse of social media.
Abuse of social media. He talked about it, which
Yes.
I think we've seen quite common.
Yeah, very common.
Not only the president.
And then the violence itself, the political
Exactly,
violence.
political violence. He talked about it. But he also touched on the aspect of law and order.
Yes.
And
yes,
I
yes.
thought maybe we center our first discussion as we're looking at, the SONA on law and order.
Yes.
And when we were talking about law and order, I think he touched on the Public Order Act.
Yes.
Law and order.
Yes.
Exactly.
Well-
he emphasized on it
Well-
so much.
So much. Law and order, it's very important in the sense that we cannot progress as a country if we do not have law and order. It's only through this environment that we are enjoying at the moment, because there is peace, there is order, and we know that as we sleep tomorrow, we are going to wake up. It will be the same Zambia that we are living. In the following days, it will be the same Zambia we'll be catching up with. So basically, order and peace, it's very important. Law and order, it's very important to I think, to look at. And especially that we are in this period, or should I say the year, which is an election year. And everybody is expecting the president to demonstrate leadership and to take, I think, even 5 steps ahead of everyone. And that's what the president has done. And if you look at, in fact, what we have done, when you talk about the seriousness of investing in the same law and order, it's the public order which sits, I think, too much with the implementation with the police. If you look at what was happening yesterday, especially with I think the inspection of some of the infrastructure, state-of-art infrastructure that our Home Affairs Minister was inspecting, it gave us much hope. And we can just see that this is a serious leadership that is meant well for the Zambian people. Because what I'm talking about is the infrastructure that will be able to help the government to have information, to have almost surveillance of all the strategic areas in Zambia. And these are hotspots of violence. They are known. But how violence can be controlled, it's through these gadgets of technology. So we have invested in technology. We have made sure that we have equipped the police, and the police, they have had their own refresher course. So basically, for us as a Patriot Front, we have invested enough in the people that implement the Public Order Act. It's not that the act itself, it has been too political. It has never been amended. It has been in the same form from 1955 to where we stand today. Because others, all the time, we play politics when it comes to that. And it only needs, a one-third majority to see to it that it can be changed. But in most cases, you find that people don't look at it as an opportunity to make sure that we level the playing field following the prevailing conditions. But looking at what we have at the moment, we have a civilized leadership, we have a mature leadership, and we have a smart leadership that has put smart solutions across the board. And for us,
Honorable, before you progress, when we look at the aspect of the Public Order Act, do you think it's a hindrance to in one or the other? Do you think it's a hindrance to people expressing their views to human rights, such as a right to gather, rights to free speech? This Public Order Act in its current form.
In its current form, I think if it favors too much of, is it the ruling party, or should I say those who are in governance? But in its practicality, it is the one which promotes the peace that we are enjoying at the moment. And if you compare with our neighboring countries, I think this could be the reason why that we have been a beacon of peace. It's because of the same Public Order Act.
Should
so
it be
basically,
changed?
There was need to relook at it so that at the end of the day we incorporate the new prevailing conditions.
Okay.
Because
When
it
we're
was
talking
enacted
about
in 1955, as I said.
Okay. When we are talking about relooking into it, what are some of the aspects that you feel should be changed?
Well, I think if you look at what was proposed through the Butane, I think those were very, very important angles, and that is to do with the permits themselves. You need to, all the time you have this need of having a meeting, you need to inform the police, or to just go and seek permit, or also involve the judiciary where things of granting the permission if it's not given. So basically, those are some of the areas that we wanted to expand it on. So basically, from my point of view, it's the way they had done it through the Butane. I think that was going to be the best window of opportunity of changing the Public Order Act. But as it stands today, you look at, if you are in governance, you look at it like it's best to continue seeing this peace that we are enjoying. And even those who take over again, they will look at it as a tool to make sure that peace and order continues. Okay. So basically, there is need to relook at it, but not at this time because it's too late. Okay. So basically, the Public Order Act, it's one of the anchors of the same order. It's one of the anchors of the same peace that we are currently enjoying.
Okay. Going forward, what would you like to see as we go towards the general elections, in as far as the application of the Public Order Act is concerned? How should it be applied?
I think it falls too much on the political parties themselves, because as an PS as the ruling party, we were once in opposition, and we managed to win the general election in 2011. When the Public Order Act has been there, it has been there even before the PF was formed. So basically, it's important that you work within the law, you operate within the law, and then you try to look at yourself, you examine yourself where we are at the moment. And there are other important opportunities that now that beats the Public Order Act, that social media. So basically, if you look at the environment in which we are, we do not need all these gatherings, we do not need all these protests here and there, but there are a lot of platforms at which we can protest, at which we can air our grievances, at which we can try to approach our interested stakeholders and then also our constituencies. So basically, with the coming in of social media, the Public Order Act, somehow we can leave it the way it is. We can still work within our limits. So it's important that we avoid, especially with the COVID-19, we avoid the gathering. So basically, it is telling us that as politicians, we need to move in tandem with the times and then also incorporate technology.
Okay. The Republican president will be hoping that, the main key aspects that he talked about in his SONA speech on Friday will be supported not only by the ruling Patriotic Front, but also by the opposition and the general public at large. Law and order vis-a-vis POA, the Public Order Act. How do you think people or political parties in general can support this law and order vis-a-vis the Public Order Act, especially that even the opposition need to be given time to speak to their people, to mobilize, and to get ready for an election?
Yes.
Exactly. And you, as the opposition, as the party in power, you also need the same. Exactly. Especially that you guys have been at the center of being accused of misusing the Public Order Act itself.
It's unfortunate that our colleagues have misunderstood our position as a Patriotic Front, and we have always explained, not only here, but almost on all platforms, we have always emphasized that there is need of our opposition party to mature up, to sober up, and to demonstrate leadership, because this is not happening for the first time. The Public Order Act has been there, and we won these elections, is it in 2011, to where we are today, because of the same following of the Public Order Act. It was there in 2011. So basically, we have had instances of political parties that have failed to follow the law, and they have been always fighting the authorities. If you look at the history of this country, you will find that a certain political party has been in the forefront of inciting disorder, has been inciting lawlessness, violence, especially if you have an election, maybe in their perceived stronghold areas, you'll find that there will be violence there. But if you look at the areas where the Patriotic Front are, especially the northern area, you find that you have had incidences where you find that maybe like the latest one which we had in Kasama, and when we had our independent member of parliament who passed on, there was that one of smashing a vehicle. But look at the way the weight came from the Patriotic Front senior hierarchy members, the Secretary General, the President himself. It was never entertained. And up to this very day, no one has ever supported such violence. But when you look at our friends, they have been always fighting the authorities. It's very rare that you find that it has been PF versus UPND. Those are in isolated cases, and in most cases, it's when we have a by-election. But we have had these incidences when there are no elections, but maybe court appearances, police appearances, or funerals, such activities. You find that people, instead of mourning a friend, they will be there trying to instigate violence, trying to go beyond what they are supposed to do. So basically, it's a wrong perception that we have had from our friends. We have never been involved as a Patriotic Front in confrontation with the opposition, but the opposition, they have been in confrontation with the law. So basically, there is that misconception. And following what the president said on the same SONA, we just have to adhere to what the president is saying. Because one, the president is the one who is the commander-in-chief. And as the commander-in-chief, you have all these resources are available. But he doesn't want to behave as a dictator. This president that we have, he respects the institution of governance. He respects democratization process. He respects that Zambians, we are Christians, and as such, under the morals and values and principles, we can attain on ourselves as individuals. We don't need the defense forces to go in and force or help us to implement this, what the president is talking about. That's why he's making this timely appeal to everyone that let us support him to make sure that we look at ourselves first. Where are we? And where do we stand? We can lose a lot. Where we stand as a nation, we have achieved a lot in the past 56 years. So basically, it is timely, and it's not the end of Zambia. It's not the end of the world. This election that have been happening. We had a successful election in 1991, in 2001, in 2006, 2008, and 2011. And the other one, the latest ones were in 2015 and 2016. But these two immediate past election, that's where we have had, unfortunately, an increased rate of violence. And this is because of our friends, the UPND, who have seen to come out for the first time as the number two or second to the Republican presidency, to closer to the Republican president. And this, we suspect, it's the reason why we have witnessed this increase in violence. Otherwise, in 2006, when we came as number two, we never had such a discussion. When Michael Sata came number two to Levi Patrick Mwanawasa, we never had such problems. In 2008, when Michael Sata came second against the Rupia Banda, we never had such problem. We never had such a conversation. We never had the narrative of, no, there is too much violence. But even when we won the election in 2011, because the MMD was number two, we never had any problems. But the problem came in now when the UPND has become the number two party in Zambia. And that's where the reason of violence now. This is a discussion now, it's always a violence. So basically our appeal, this is timely, and we don't want to target the UPND, but we would want the way the president had said it, to appeal to all peace-loving Zambians, to everyone. It's a personal responsibility. If you see that there is a cadre who is misbehaving, let's talk to them. Let us use our platform across the nation. We have a lot of brilliant minds who have so a brilliant social media platform. Let's use this social media platform to educate, because you know where there is illiteracy, that's where you find that violence will increase. So basically, it's on us, our media houses. I think even another item which we talked about, the critical role that you journalists play into this democratization process, into this governance issue, and then also how we can counter together, fight this violence. The interested stakeholders.
Peace is very cardinal this year.
Mm.
Law and order, peace is very cardinal this year.
Yes.
That's the reason why the president emphasized so much on it,
Yes.
because it's an election year for the country.
Yes, yes.
And I think we've seen the past election years that have already taken place in other countries, America, Uganda, Malawi, and of course others. We've seen what how the process has gone. Exactly. How do you intend to ensure that your supporters, your cadres, do not become the contributing factor to any violence that the country might record, especially as other political parties are also busy mobilizing themselves?
Look, we have a lot of social media platform that is on WhatsApp, and then also on the Facebook, and then Twitter. We have made sure that, being an administrator, we have made sure that we make all these people who have access to these gadgets, they report responsibly. They also act as a channels of peace through the messaging that they are giving to the people. And then also to make sure that we continue speaking the same language that the president has been uttering. And we continue championing and being champions of peace. So basically for us as a ruling party, it's us who has a lot to lose. Because at the end of the day, the Zambian people have given us this privilege, this mandate to govern them. And for us, we have that special role to make sure that every Zambian's life is protected. So basically, we are communicating to everyone, especially those in the party structures and the mobilization teams, that we champion peace. We champion the messages, not of tribalism, as the president said, but that one of championing coming together, reason together, and then have this intercourse of ideas, so that at the end of the day, we attain what we have always wanted to attain, and that is peace, and the peace that push the development agenda forward.
Okay. Finally, Honorable, before I let go of you, looking at the fact that you've got another engagement coming up, Party Secretary General Davis Mwila has hinted that, this coming weekend the date will be set for the General Assembly. How is the mood in the camp?
Well, the mood in the camp has always been exciting, especially that if you have seen what the Secretary General has already done is that we had, when last time I came here, the President, remember when he was in the Northern Bloc there, he opened it up for everybody to join in when it comes to aspiring for this legislative position, and then on the ward level. So it has been open. So basically, there was an extension also to those who are aspiring in places like in the three provinces, southern, western provinces, and then in northwestern provinces, that they should start also lodging in their application. So basically, the camp, it's in an excited mode. And for us, this excitement, it means a lot, especially as we come to this general conference that we are going to have. So basically, what we have done so far as a party, we have laid a very good background, and that is starting from 2018. From ward to, I think, up to the provinces. In the 7 provinces, we have new leadership. And the one which has been remaining is only Northern Province, Wapula, and Lusaka. That's where we have had only on the provincial levels. And this can be done overnight. And before even the general conference, or even as I speak now, maybe already these venues have been set. And we are holding on because of the COVID-19. So basically the mood in our camp, it's extremely exciting. Resources are being mobilized so that at the end of the day we make this party very attractive, and we give it to the Zambian people to give us this again fresh mandate to govern them as we head to 2021. So basically, when it comes to the word that the Secretary General has given us, one Davis Mwila, it's a way to go. This is not the first time that we're having a general conference. This has been our norm. And for us, it has been so special that we have always had to go to Kawe. So this time, I think resources has to be raised so that we do it because of the COVID pandemic. It has to be done on the provincial level. But I know, of course, the secretariat has to shift. It has to go to Mulungushi Rock, because we believe that the God that we worship, that gives us this peace that we are enjoying, is the ancient days of days. And symbolically, we go to Mulungushi there, because there is a rock, the Mulungushi Rock, which to us is a direct reconciliation, and then also the center at which Zambian politics emanate from. UNIP was there, the MMD was there, the PF also, before we formed government, we went there. So basically for us, we take this as a good opportunity, a rare opportunity once again to reinvigorate the party through having a new manifesto. He talked about the manifesto that would be ushered to the people there. And then also we talked about the constitution. We have to revisit the constitution. And then also the presidency has to be looked at. We have to also make sure that we endorse or we vote for a candidate that we want. And in our case, we support that one of Wanted Gachagua. And for us, we have progressed as compared to 2014, where we had even to raise hands. But this time around, we are a peaceful movement, and we intend to extend that peace to the rest of the country.
You've criticized the opposition UPND for allowing HH to go unopposed. Is Edgar Chagwa Lungu going to have opposition?
Basically, it's not here and there that we have opposed them. In fact, we have been asking them that they should have at least a general conference, which is a plus now, because we believe that in a democracy, you cannot have a person for 14 years without going for a general conference. So to us, we have set the tone, and this is what we are requesting. And for what is happening, the way they are doing it, whether they will raise hands or they will do some paperwork, whatever, it's not important. But basically, democracy entails that you show it to the people, and it's for the Zambian people to judge how is the election process happening under the UP, and the people are watching. these are the people who have been very critical of others. But now look at what is happening in their camp. A lot, I think, need to be desired. And then also, there are the people who have been talking about the time, especially with the Electoral Commission. So to us, we are not condemning them, but we are also just giving them the check and balances. Democracy, it's all about listening, and you don't only listen to the opposition itself, but also to the ruling party. So as the ruling party, opposition, and the person who has been with them, he has been there for the past 14 years. It would have been much better if the man would have had at least somebody to stand with. Because mere what is happening there, we are taking it like it is Kaunda's time, where Kaunda used to stand with the frog. But for us, just some 5 years ago, Edgar Jagalungu faced how many? 11 contestants. So he beat 11 contestants. That's where we are coming from. So basically, that's what we are expecting also to be with the UPND, especially that it has been long that they have been featuring one person, and this person has been 5 on 5 attempts. So basically, for us, we would want democracy not only to thrive in the Patriot Front, but even in our young brother, the UPND. So our criticism should not be taken that one of being negative, being myopic, but it is constructive criticism that we are offering.
All right, I've been talking to the Patriotic Front media admin, Honorable Chendela Mukondo, who came through, and of course, those are some of the sentiments. And let us wait from the party general secretary as he makes an announcement of the date for the General Assembly of the Patriotic Front, where they will also have to go and usher in new leadership that will take the party to the 12th August 2021 election. This is a very, very special year for Zambia, and of course, one of the key issues that the president highlighted during the SONA speech on Friday last week was the fact that, law and order has to prevail before, during, and of course after an election, regardless of who wins. And we were looking at that particular aspect vis-a-vis the Public Order Act. Okay, so as we wrap up the breakfast show for today, wow, be good, stay blessed, stay uphill, and of course stay on top of your game. When you fall, never give up. Rise up to the challenge. Those challenges refine us and of course make us better each and every day that we go on. Remember to put God first in everything that you do. And of course, across the continent, some of the stories that made headlines: Zimbabwe has received its first 200,000 doses of the Sinopharm vaccine from China. It was delivered on Monday in the morning via South African airline, and the ambassador from China to Zimbabwe made the delivery to the government. And of course, Zimbabweans will start receiving their doses. In South Africa, started opening up the borders for trade. One of the borders that have been opened is Bait Bridge, and of course on top of that, the Zimbabwe, Botswana, Namibia, Mozambique, and of course Eswatini borders have also been opened. And Zambia's High Commissioner to South Africa, Major General Miti, has indicated that Zambians traveling to South Africa need to have a COVID-19 certificate. So that is a requirement in South Africa. So if you be traveling to South Africa as a result of the opening up of the borders, please ensure that you have that certificate to avoid being on the other side of the law. Donald Trump has been acquitted after the Congress failed to reach the required threshold to have him either either on the other side or not at an international level, making headlines. And of course, in sports, the UEFA Champions League continues today, and of course, we'll see more games being played. But last night, Chelsea managed to get into the top 4 after they did beat Newcastle by 2-0. Werner scoring his first goal after 14 games. And of course, in the other game, it was West Ham 3. And the embattled Sheffield United 0. It was an amazing game to watch. All right, we'll be back tomorrow morning with another exciting edition of the Breakfast Show. For now, it's bye-bye and enjoy the rest of the day.
lele kwego